you ever felt frustrated, overwhelmed, or stuck wasting time in admin instead of growing, leveraging, and scaling your business? Then this podcast is for you. Welcome to Delegate to Elevate, the podcast that's all about handing off what you don't need to do so you can focus on what you do best. So here's your host, Bonnie Schatzy.
Hello, everybody. I am Bonnie Schatzy, your host of Delegate to Elevate, Get Done. Welcome again. Thank you for returning and being here today with me as I introduce you to David Schatzkamer, Schatzy. I love that. He is my guest today, and David is a serial entrepreneur with strong business sense and a passion for helping community members provide for their families with dignity. His journey has taken him through multiple companies and industries where he has consistently left his mark as an innovator with a keen sense for what works, delivering results beyond expectations. He combines his strengths in business and psychology to build people up and create growth-focused workspaces, helping those he works with, whether clients or employees, achieve the best version of themselves. Love that. David, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You bet. So tell me a little bit more about what you do, who you support, and how we can bring a little fun into the game.
I guess I'll start with the fun part. So
All right. I like that.
as my profession, I'm actually a licensed therapist and I work with kids. Little kids is my specialty, and my world around that is around play therapy. But for me, play is more like not like a verb that we do, but more like an attitude, more like being present, be authentic, be in the moment, be curious, engaging, having fun, taking things not so seriously, and applying that through all aspects of life as much as I could in business,
Mm-hmm.
So I do that. That's part of what I do. Also, what I do is I do some business consulting where I help startups, businesses scale, build up, work on operations, work on setting the right team up in the beginning so you have all the necessarily tools and foundation to really, instead of working in your business, you can work on your business. While the
Absolutely.
while the other people work in it, while you work on it.
Yes. We need that as CEOs and founders of our businesses. We need people that can bring that in and help us learn how to, what I always talk about on this podcast is build our delegation models and muscles so that we can be free to do what we're good at and why we started our businesses in the first place. And incorporating fun, I shared with you a little before we hit record, is something that I've been trying to do consciously. What would be an example of something fun or something that you might share with your clients that they could bring into this adult business world on the daily?
It could be fun, meaning you could it could be something physically you do, like go for a walk. It could be like, one of my offices, I bought, let's say, a ping pong rackets and some net. We made a ping pong on a ping pong table, type of thing. Or just more like getting people in a mindset with, let's say, if things go wrong, fine, but we'll just not harp on it. But like,
Right.
how do we improvise? How do we
Okay.
change? Be open mind to curiosity, I guess.
Yeah. So I had an episode really early on in the podcast that I called the 7 C's, and every time I mention it, I can't think of all seven. But one of them I just thought of was clarity, and that's and creativity. And so being creative and thinking out about how to make people not have the Sunday scaries when they're coming into work on a Monday would be creatively thinking of ways to add that little secret sauce of fun into their day so work doesn't feel so much like work, like it can actually have a better day. And so what I like to share with everybody is obviously first what you do. I love when did you decide to take your therapy side of you into the, working with businesses instead or as well?
I didn't have to necessarily change anything I was doing. I was just more applying what I know, and just like people ask me, like, how do you do what you do?
Right.
Or like, it's just more, for me, it's more of a natural thing. But like, I was trying to, I guess, make more of an impression on businesses and operations, stuff like that, where people could,
Yeah.
access that level of creativity and
Yeah.
problem
So it
solving.
kind of just organically came from what you were already doing.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And that's kind of like what everything that has evolved in my business has come organically for me too. Like I never set out to do a podcast, and here I am. It was
Right.
something when somebody said, "You like to talk, you should do a podcast." So you never know what you're going to like or don't like. But what about you? Like in your therapy practice and in your consultancy, I guess, or your fractional work. Have you delegated to others? And what is, if you have, are delegated or outsourced parts of your business or your workflows to others? And how has that gone for you?
Sure. I like to say I like to delegate as much as I can, and I'll delegate as everything besides going to the bathroom. Thank God.
I love it. Yeah, we don't need no help with that. Usually.
I don't want to delegate, you know. But
Good.
I think for me it comes down to, like, I guess, two things. One, you have to be comfortable with, like, giving over control.
Right.
I don't need to be the smartest person in the room.
Yep.
I just want the stuff to get done.
Yep.
I don't care that I have to, like, some people, especially, let's say, entrepreneurs or founders, they wear many hats. They have to do everything. They have to figure out, like, for me, I don't want to figure it. I don't want to have to figure everything out. I want to
Yeah,
do
me
what
neither.
I want to do what I know best how to do.
Mm-hmm.
One part of it, one side of the coin is, like, you have to really relinquish that kind of, I don't know, control, or you have to do everything, or you're the smartest person. I know it all.
Yeah.
And also, you have to know the flip side to that. You have to know who to delegate for
Yep.
what specific thing.
Right.
Not one person can do everything, but
Yep.
if you could piece it together, piece it around, then you could just delegate to who, to what you need to get
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. So first thing to do is to identify what can be delegated that you don't like to do, you don't know how to do, or you don't want to do.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing, right? So what was maybe one of the first things you delegated? Was like your bookkeeping or your appointment setting? What was it that you delegated first?
One particular thing I started. There was a company I was involved with, and we are training a CEO to run the business, and he
Love
wasn't
that.
he wasn't getting it. He
Yeah.
wasn't. It was like I was getting frustrated because, like, he wasn't getting what to do or how to do it. So in that case, I just spent a little bit more time with him,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
he knew how I think, how I operate, how things work,
Right.
setting processes up, and then once he got the groove of it, I literally I went, like, literally opposite direction, and he took lead. I didn't have to worry about anything unless there's a crisis or something.
Yeah. Right.
You know? So sometimes when you delegate, it takes a little bit time where if a person can be trained and work
Yes.
with, understand, then take the time, because in the long run, you're going to be very free up to do things that you could do. If the person that you're training is able to and willing to and capable of learning how to do that specific type of task,
Right.
then just spend a little bit more time with them and train them and help them. It could be a
Yeah.
month, it could be 6 months, but in the
Yeah.
end, you could let that go and, like, okay, on to the next thing.
Right. I love the fact that I've never heard delegating to a CEO. That's amazing. But I've been super open with the word delegation on this podcast. It doesn't have to be so literal that you're literally handing a task off to somebody. But sometimes I think of it as delegating your mind to somebody. So you as a consultant or a fractional growth guy, strategist, can come in and that CEO, like you said, has to be receptive to learning and so they are delegating their mind to you in their old thought process and listening to something new. And that's, to me, a different form of delegation, but it's almost like you're delegating up, which is great. Delegating up to the CEO. I am all about different and unique ways to think of delegation. And so I think that one is definitely a good takeaway for me. And what I would compare it to in my past is delegating up or educating up to my CEOs that I used to support as an executive assistant in corporate. So I definitely want my audience to think about that too, in ways of delegating up. You can delegate
Or,
across, you can delegate down, but you can also delegate up.
Also, what's important if if you're delegating a task or something that you want to do, it's really good to know it yourself in and out, so you could then
Mm,
give it over to someone else. Like
right, right.
once you know the process, when you know everything, then okay, now you could give it over to someone else to do.
Yeah.
If you don't know what to delegate and how to do it, then there might be a miscommunication and things might
Yep.
not go so well. So if you
Yeah.
understand at your level that you can then explain it to someone else and train
Yep.
that person in, then why not?
Yeah.
That just frees you up to do things like you want to do, like
Exactly. And I think what a lot of people struggle with is the time it takes to train somebody, even if it is something you know how to do. But I mean, they're going to reap the rewards in the end because they're going to get their time back.
Right.
And no matter what it is, even if you don't like doing it, somebody out there likes it. And so you just have to find that person that likes it and is going to be energized when you train them or you communicate to them. Do you use like SOPs or do you have documented processes you hand over to clients or what's your
Document.
like process?
Yeah, process is more documented on like it's a workflow stuff like that. Plus
Yeah.
SOP. Yeah, I do
Yep.
incorporate.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm all about document and over communicating, especially in this remote world. Now, do you go on site? Are you more remote?
I do both.
You do both. Okay.
Mhm.
You live in the great NYC, so you've got a big city and lots of clients potential there. That's amazing. So, what's it like living in a city like that? I've never lived in that big of a city.
It's a
Is it
bit busy.
overwhelming?
It's a bit busy for me, but it's okay.
Yeah. Is there a lot of competition for what you do, or do you have that nice little niche that it's a little bit easier for you because of people seeking out something different?
I don't look at anything as competition because I'm just one, and this is how I do things, and there's only one me. So for
Yep.
me, I don't really I don't really look at it as competition. More like if I could help someone, I could give value to someone, I could help their business, and
Yeah.
you know
Yeah, absolutely.
people.
Where can people find your services?
I'm usually on LinkedIn. They can find
Okay.
me on David Schatzkamer. They can
Okay.
definitely
Perfect.
LinkedIn.
We'll share all that in the comments below on all our platforms so that they can reach you. If they were to take away something today from you, a couple of little golden nuggets that they might be able to apply to help themselves grow in their business, either themselves personally or help their team. Especially, I like the going on the team angle and bringing more fun into their day. If there's something that you could think of off the top of your head, no pressure, that we could have, that we could give them as a takeaway today, what might that be?
I think starting in small steps is
Okay.
really important. Like it really like you could granule it to very small. Like really start very small as much as you can.
Yeah.
As far as if you want to delegate something, like do a simple thing. It could be like just ordering coffee for the office or something. I don't know, like something
Yeah.
where you could feel that type of okay. What does it feel like to something off my shoulder and someone's receptive to take care of
Yeah.
it, and you don't have to deal with. Like you could free you up to do things like you want to do, and it can keep
Right.
you, that kind of. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of doing things in very small
Yeah.
doses, and
I
like
always say dip my toes in the water a little bit. Yeah, I love the beach, so I always think of beach analogies. Dip my toes a little bit in the cold Pacific, as opposed to the warm Atlantic. That's great. So
I'm not a big fan of technology, even though it's very valuable. But like,
interesting. Yeah.
um, you could turn off your phone and just like give yourself, let's say, 15 minutes or half an hour, and just like
Ooh.
be open to like spacing out, just like daydreaming or something,
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I'm going to quote that. Be open to daydreaming. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. Because
Because then you
as you
think,
being a therapist, we need that time for ourselves to really kind of recenter, right?
yeah, even do things like you enjoy, whether it's going to the beach or playing music or
Yeah.
reading a
Taking a
book.
nap.
Yeah,
Anything that's fun to you. Playing games on my phone. I don't know. I'm so boring. But I love the fact that you incorporate fun in what you do. And do you still who are your ideal? You said kids in the psychology practice?
yeah.
Okay.
Ages three,
Nice.
ages 3 to 7.
Okay. That's amazing because God bless you. I am of the grandmother age and I don't know. I don't have any grandkids yet. So I don't know how much I could deal with kids anymore. That's why I only had one. But that's a whole different
Yeah.
Oprah, as they say. But yes, thank you so much for
Yeah.
being here. Is there anything else that you'd like to share today or any other little golden nugget that you have?
could just write a book of golden nuggets, no?
Right? I think we can co-write it if you'd like.
Yeah,
we'll,
golden nuggets.
we'll have to chat GPT that. No, it's okay if you don't have one. I just want to thank you for being here today. Absolutely. And for reaching out. David reached out to me on LinkedIn and asked if I needed a podcast guest. And I am always open to guests. So, thank you for having, the courage to do that, because not many people do. And it's a muscle of your own that you have to have the confidence in doing, and reaching out to somebody and saying, hey, I'd love to be on your podcast. So anybody listening, reach out. I'm with you. That is sort of delegating your fear, or if you do fear it. He was confident enough to reach out, and I said, let's do this thing. And so I encourage anybody too to listen and ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. There's my golden nugget.
I guess I'll leave off on another golden nugget.
Yeah.
It's getting comfortable with uncomfortable.
Okay.
Doing podcasts was not something I envisioned I would ever be doing.
Same. Yeah. No, I love that. That's good. Thank you for stepping outside your comfort zone with me. That I'm glad I led you into that a little bit. That's good, because that's what I hope to do for people here on this show.
With zero expectation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I
Yes.
have no expectation. How it's gonna go? What's it gonna go? What am I gonna say? I don't have like scripts written down.
No, I mean, I could have scripted you out, but I'm a very real, raw person, and I like the conversations to just flow as they go.
So that's the play side, where you don't have to plan so much. Just
Right.
go with it more.
Go with the flow.
Show up being present. Show up being you, and then that will make it'll just work out.
Yeah, then you're going to attract the right people. When you're delegating, you're going to attract the right clients. And if you are you, because then you're going to be comfortable in who you're supporting or who you're working with or delegating to. And I'm in that part of my business at this time. In the beginning, it's like, take them all. I need clients. I'll take anybody and everybody. But now I've really honed in that, qualifying the clients kind of thing, and to work with fun people. And so, I'm just too old for that non-fun people anymore. That's why I left corporate. Yeah. Not that all my corporate friends aren't fun. I will take that back if they're listening. Well, you have an amazing day in New York City. I will be there in the end of October. So if we're there for a couple of days, send me the places I need to visit. I haven't been there since I was 16, which, was just a couple years ago. I'm sure it's changed a little bit.
Just a little.
But I'm excited to come out there again, and appreciate you again for reaching out. And folks, if any of this has resonated with you, you want to learn more about fun and the psychology of fun, and how to bring it into your business, or have David come in and consult, please let us know. Just send me a message, or mark a comment below, and we'll bring him back if we can talk on another subject or elaborate a bit further into something that he shared with us today. Thank you again. Have a great day. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, and leave me a review. I appreciate all my listeners, and delegate to elevate and get done.
So that's it for today's episode of Delegate to Elevate. Head on over to Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen and subscribe to the show. One lucky listener every single week that posts a review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes will win a chance in the grand prize drawing to win a $15,000 private VIP day with Bonnie herself. Be sure to head on over to delegatetoelevatepodcast.com. That's with the number 2. And pick up a free copy of Bonnie's gift. And join us on the next episode.